Here's another Facebook Live event from PHLV Radio. Here's another Facebook Live event from PHLV Radio.
On the Dot is presented by Benjamina Mia Casino. Licensed real estate professional since 2008. License number S01669991 LLC. It's a lunch hour in Vegas, and we're on the dot with Dot and Mia here on PHLV Radio.
So here we are back at the studio. My name is Dorothy Tom. Welcome to On the Dot. It's the 20th of December, and we have 5 days to go before Christmas, 4 before Christmas Eve. Hello, Mia.
Hi, hello, Dot. Hello, everybody. Welcome to On the Dot. We have our Santa hats on.
I know, right? We found this. I found this somewhere in the house, so I figured let's have some sparkling spirit on air. So welcome to the show, and this is our second to the last for the year.
Ooh,
is that true?
Yes.
Yes. The next one will be on the 27th, and then we say goodbye to 2023. And we say hello to the next year, which is more in 2024. Welcome, welcome. We have 3 guests today. So let's get going, Mia. Come on.
Yes, our title for today is Kampanya Ni Leora.
Leora. Tagalog yan.
Oh, yes. I'm very, very excited about this
Why
episode.
do we have the title, darling?
Kampanya Ni Leora because her campaign is about Operation Salita.
Okay, she will tell us more about it.
Yes.
Okay, sige.
Bakit Operation Salita? Because it's a campaign about speaking our language, Tagalog.
Okay, alright.
Yan. Teka muna, hanapin ko ang aking kodigo. Our guest is the campaign co-lead for the Filipino-American Student Association, FASA, newest public education campaign entitled Operation Salita. The founder and of UNLV People Power, the student chapter of the ACLU of Nevada, and the current social media manager for the Asian Community Resource Center, ACRC, Miss Leora Dumanlang. Welcome to On the Dot.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Are we pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah.
Leora. Dumanlang.
Yes.
So, what's the title about? I mean, your position at the school. What is it?
So I actually just graduated. So I'm
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I work with UNLV's Philippine Ex-American Student Association, which is the largest cultural registered student organization at UNLV, and also houses the largest Philippine youth population here in Las Vegas. So we work to serve our students. We hold workshops for them. We have different socials, different events. And the campaign that we have right now is called Operation Salita, which is a branch of UNLV FASA, or the Philippine Ex-American Student Association.
Filipino, what's the A again? Filipino.
Philippine Ex-American Student
X?
Association. Yeah,
Did you
Philippine
say
X. Yeah.
Oh, why is that?
We changed it to be more inclusive. We didn't want to just be Filipino because a lot of people think Filipino just means the male Filipino. Even though there's Filipinas, there's Pinays, there's everyone in between. So
I see.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was a typo. That's why I said Filipino American. I didn't pronounce the X. I thought it was a typo. So
Okay.
it really is Philippine.
Yes,
Philippine X American. Oh, sorry about that.
So
okay.
let's make connections because we are connected in through very short degrees of ano tawag doon kay
Affinity?
Kevin.
Affinity?
Oh, we didn't
Affinity?
introduce our two other guests.
Yes, because we are going to make the connections.
Yes, yes.
So from my end, I'll tell my story first, and you can tell your story, and then you and you and you. So our other guest here is
Yes.
Jean in French.
Oh, we
Is
have
that
to
correct?
ask pala. We introduced her last week as our newest, our secretary
Ay,
for,
okay,
diba?
sige.
We had a
Here she
question.
is.
We had a question, Jean. Kasi we
Jean.
introduced her as our Yupaan secretary.
Yes.
Jean, ano ba? Mitzel?
It's Maizel.
Maizel.
Mali pala.
My
Pareho
bad.
tayong mali. Pareho tayong mali.
My bad.
So
Maizel.
that's the last name of my late husband.
Oh.
But so it's Maizel Shayet.
Maizel.
I have very hard last names to pronounce. That's how I chose my husbands.
All right. This is such a great
And then
category.
Chayet.
Yes, Shayet. You ask him how he became a Shayet.
Oh.
He's no stranger to on the dot. These two people
Yes.
here are friends.
We're
They're no
Suki.
strangers. Yeah,
Yes.
they've been here
And
before.
our next guest is the honorary member
Yes, he
of
is an
Yupaan.
honorary.
He's not paid yet.
Yes.
Honorary Filipino.
A member of Yupaan also.
And I've been on this show before.
Yes.
Tireless retiree.
Yes, you
Yes.
are a tireless retiree. So the connection is
Mr. Lloyd Shayet.
Lloyd Chayet.
How did you become Shayet?
Well, that's actually my grandfather's, my mother's side's name. My mother's maiden name. My dad, he was a gambler. I didn't want to keep his name, He was never around, so
okay.
Oh,
I had a name change
I see.
back in the day.
DSA is gonna flag you.
It's actually spelled differently originally. So it was spelled Chayet. So it's pronounced Hayet.
Oh my
But,
goodness.
different people pronounce it
But I
differently.
can't super Hayet,
Well, yeah, in Hebrew, there's a letter called a Hay, and actually Hanukkah it doesn't begin with H; it begins with CH. a
I
Hay,
see.
and it's Hanukkah.
Are you Jewish?
I was born Jewish. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm agnostic.
All right. So now we will make the connections.
There you go.
So Jean here. I like to call you Jean. Oh,
Jean.
but anyway, Jean here. She
Jean.
messaged me about somebody wanting to be our guest here so she can campaign for the Filipino language. So then, what did you say, Jean? The connection you made was that she is
She's-
her boss. She's working with
Yeah.
Mark.
Yes. So last week, Mark was your guest,
Yes.
and then we had coffee that same night. And she was talking about your show and said, "Do you want to be on the show?" And she goes, "Huh?" Because they are my friends. And she was so shocked, like it's a small world. Then she didn't want to say anything anymore because she was just like in awe of how we're all connected. And she's my student at UNLV for that pilot program for Operation Salita.
Oh.
So she's your student.
Yes,
in
I
that
was there,
operation.
volunteer instructor for the Filipino language at UNLV.
That's
Ayan,
nice.
galing ng connections.
Yeah.
So, regards to Mark. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Mark and
Congratulations.
From
Hello,
last
Mark.
week.
Congratulations.
Let's talk a little bit
Winter
about that
Wonderland.
before we move to
Yes.
you, darling.
Were you there?
Opo,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how was it for you, Mia?
Oh, it was very uplifting. It was what struck me was the children that were giving out the food, and they were happy doing it too. So
Very, very good. Very good work. How was it for you? It
was fun.
Leora, yeah. Were you distributing food or blankets?
Yeah, I was
Where were-
distributing food. canned
Okay,
foods.
yeah. I was receiving all that.
Oh.
Yeah, I was there. We went through
Yes.
the drive-through. Drive-through is at the word drive-by, and we distributed everything else into to our neighborhood, and the divine is really wonderful because I said, let's just give to whoever is outside,
Right.
instead of knocking on doors. So the 5 boxes multiplied to 10 because we added our own too. So 10 boxes, 10 bags. And I said, let's just give to whoever is outside, whoever is walking or have their garage doors open. And like 7 of them were Asians. How cool is that? 7 of them are Asians. So, and we gave I replicated the flyer ni Michelle and Mark in Winter Wonderland, so they would know that it's from this organization, not from me. So yeah, congratulations. Palakpakan.
Congratulations. Yay.
What about giving?
Yes.
Okay, so here we are, Leora. So what is the gist of the program?
So Operation Salita or Operation Speak is a public education campaign dedicated to getting a Tagalog course on UNLV's campus. Because currently, right now, we don't have Tagalog offered as a foreign language that you can take for foreign language credit. So students have the options to take Spanish, Japanese, Latin, all of these other different languages, which is wonderful. But we don't have Tagalog, and a lot of our student population, or our API student population, is Filipino.
When you say a lot, do you have the numbers?
I don't have the specific number of
like
students.
thousands, right?
Yeah, yes.
Definitely, for sure, yeah.
So is it offered as an elective now?
It's not an elective. It's an optional program, a pilot program that UNLV FASA has hosted with Operation Salita. So currently
that's
we're
nice.
having classes every Wednesday, or we were for the first semester, every Wednesday, taught by Tita Jean.
That's nice.
And students and as well as community members were able to come in to UNLV and take this course.
How was it for you, Jean? How long were you teaching it?
So it's the first time I taught Filipino language, but my professor from UCSD, San Diego, he was my professor at NUP way back in when. Yes. But he's a professor and he just retired, and then I asked him, can you mentor me to be a professor of Filipino language? And he gave me all of his stuff, his curriculum, his books. Well, I have to buy. But he told me what it was, and then he showed me how to maneuver it. But then it's a campaign for UNLV because UNLV has very high standards. And for us to be able to get through the hoops, we have to have a curriculum or the learning outcomes and a professor who has a backing, a master's or a PhD. And we don't have that yet. So if there's someone out there, I have a cousin in the Philippines. She's a master's in Filipino language teaching at National University, and she had so many awards. But she's in the Philippines teaching Filipino language.
Yes.
It's different teaching Filipino language to Fil-Ams
Foreigners.
here.
Oh,
to Fil-Ams
Fil-Ams.
and foreigners, yes.
Okay.
We had husband and wife. So the wife is Fil-Am. She's French Filipino. Her mom is Filipino, and her husband is Turkish. So they were in the class, and it's very interesting because they were talking about food, because their language of love is food. The Turkish guy knows Filipino food because of his mother-in-law.
Amazing.
Yes, and there were other students. Their moms are Filipino, and then their dads are from different nationalities. And all we talk about are food and how it is, the different tourist places. They wanted to go back to the Philippines, but they want to speak the language.
Right.
They hear all the language at home, but they're not able to speak. And their passion in learning is so much that when I give them an assignment, it's hard for them. They're very embarrassed how to do it, but then they are trying their best. Like Leora now, I can hear speaks in sentences.
Oh,
Right,
sige, try.
Filipino.
Let's hear you. What can you say in straight Filipino, straight Tagalog?
Don't
Or
embarrass
just
me.
put me on the spot.
Oh yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. You're on the dot. You're on the spot.
I just heard her say something when she got here.
What
Oh,
was that?
I said, nasa simbahan po yung nanay ko.
Nanay.
Nasa simbahan.
So are your parents both Filipino?
Yes.
Yes.
both
That helps.
Yeah. I grew up and my parents would speak Tagalog to me.
Yes,
Nasa
that's how we are at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pero not a lot of our other students have that opportunity. Their parents never taught them Tagalog,
Yes.
True.
or never spoke to them in Tagalog. So their parents had to speak English to them, and they never learned to understand their parents.
Correct.
In Tagalog. So it's different understanding your parents when they're speaking in Tagalog
Right.
versus them speaking in English.
You
because-
empower yourself if you understand your parents
Yeah.
speaking in Tagalog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you classmates with Lloyd?
Yes.
So
yeah.
Lloyd, translate. Can you translate that for me in English to English? You know, nasa simbahan po ang nanay ko. Do you know?
No, I cannot. Okay. Unlike a lot of the other students there, I was not part Filipino, and they spoke a lot better than I did or understood a lot more than I did. It was more of a learning curve, especially because I'm old too. You know, you can't learn as readily as you can when you're young, you know.
But you can greet them in Filipino.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you said earlier.
Magandang hapon.
Oh, magandang.
Salamat.
So it's not just open to students, it's open to everybody.
The pilot program is open to the community
Ah.
and to students especially, but we only had slots for 30.
Or 30.
And then they signed up, but as the days went on, everybody got to be busy. So I said, what's happening to my class? But then there were other students who will come in. There was two who came in during the last part of our course, and then the UNLV thing happened. So it was so sad that we had to just take whatever days we had. And then we're planning on coming back together as a class so that we can tie up everything and close that pilot program and move to the next semester. Yes.
That's nice. I remember a few years ago we wanted to do a program like that.
Yes,
with
we
you,
did.
Paan.
With
Yeah,
Tita
maybe we
Esther,
can-
right?
Yeah, maybe we can tie up with
And we have
operations.
plans for I don't know, some of my friends will just probably kill me because this is preempting their plan, but in high schools and the different CCSD high schools, we're planning to pilot a program for hosting the Filipino language among high school students. So that's another program that Filipino Americans Filipino educators of Nevada is trying to sponsor.
nice, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a question. How, because that was part of the planning stage we had with Tita Esther. How do you teach Tagalog? Like, is it conversational Tagalog? Is it how you teach Filipino in the Philippines? You start with I, E, O, U, or is it how Lloyd said you start with Magandang Umaga? How do you start teaching Tagalog?
So from FASA, they already have curriculum that we looked over. So we have looked at the curriculum from Sacramento, from San Diego, UCSD, and then there's another program at Harvard University. So they started at the same time we did. So we looked at all the curriculum, and then we looked at the learning outcomes. And I asked my students, what do they want to be?
Yeah.
What are their goals for joining the class? And they said they wanted to surprise their parents and their families by suddenly speaking Tagalog on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. So how did we start? So
That's
we have
nice, yeah.
I have to know what their intentions are first.
Oh, yeah.
And then
That's
so
good.
that from their intentions, I planned on how to be able to do that And then we had we were planning a boodle fight, so we'll talk about food. But we had for Halloween, we have pangangalulua. So it's a traditional. Yes, it's all about food. And they were speaking. They were so happy. And we didn't want to end our course without having a boodle fight. So I don't know what Leora and the FASA group will plan for
it has
Christmas.
not been
No,
the
not
fight.
yet because of what happened.
No
Yes.
fights. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're
Right.
still trying to figure out everyone's different schedules and and it's so hectic during this time of the year. So it's hopefully we're able to get like at least a small group together to close out the program for this semester.
What was your intention to learn Tagalog?
Well,
Was or is?
so currently it still is and
It
was.
still is. Okay.
My grandma, she came here a couple years ago when I was 1 year old in 2001, 2002, and she really, really wanted to learn English. But now, like, she's about like 75 right now, and she's still trying to learn English, but she's having a really, really hard time learning English. So in my head, like, my thought process was, why should I expect my Lola, who like had finished only 6th grade in the Philippines, to learn English in America when the education systems are so different, when I can learn Tagalog myself, like, and be able to communicate with my Lola, because I know it's really hard for her to understand us, especially when we're speaking in English. There's a lot of slang, so I try my best to try and mimic like the Tagalog accent, so that she can understand me, so that we can understand each other. And even when she's at the doctor's office and there's a language barrier, when the nurse practitioner doesn't understand her, or my Lola doesn't understand
very
her,
important.
I translate for them too. So
Right.
it's just really beneficial to learn this language because I can communicate with my family. I can understand them, build a relationship with them that's different.
That is so important.
Yeah.
Yes, that's-
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a few students in that class who work in the health field, and that's what their intentions were, that they want to communicate with their patients. And so in class, we are serious, but then when I hear their stories, it's just so endearing that this, as I call them children, but they, of course they're in college. But their intentions are to go back to the country, to the Philippines, be able to connect with their parents, with their grandparents, and with their patients. So it's like if they are coming here and they're not earning any credit, they go here every week. So why should I not go there to teach the class? I have friends who were asking me, what do you get out of it? I said, teaching is a profession that you will not get rich from.
Is that true?
It's true. You know how it is because you're a teacher yourself.
Not richer than what?
Well, I don't know what richer is for them, but they ask me in monetary terms, how much are you earning? I said, I don't base my standards on how much I earn.
True.
I base it on how much my students learn.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when she said we have to have a doctor professor, we have to have a master's who will be a professor, I said, okay, and they will ask you how much are they paying. So for me, it's just like, okay, I will teach you guys what I can, and if they need someone else, and it's fine. So if there's someone out there who are better equipped, you have all your certificates, please join us so that our students at UNLV will have the credit that they need while they're learning the language.
So right now, if my understanding is correct, the one that you're teaching in the pilot program does not require a professor who holds a master's degree in Filipino.
Since it's a pilot program,
Yes.
this is not
It's okay,
an
right?
accredited program.
It's not accredited,
So
okay.
this, we hold our classes at UNLV. It's the FASA.
It's a FASA.
It's a FASA program, but we hold it at UNLV.
Oh yes, because I remember that CSN College of Southern Nevada, they had these programs with, I think what do you call them? These weekend programs that run for just like 6 months, 4 months. And they taught Tagalog before. And the classes were so full that John did not have a slot because he wanted to learn Tagalog as his foreign language.
So Lloyd has to be happy because he was able to get in that class.
What was your
I got in with the
motivation?
instructor, you know.
What was your intention for learning Tagalog?
Well, you know, between her and her mom and all her relatives talking in front of me and everything, I do pick up some words because, you know, Tagalog is not a pure language. So I do know a little Spanish, and of course I know a little English. And so there's English because a lot of the words do not translate into English, so they have no choice but to use English words. And Spanish, you know, they were taken over by the Spaniards for 300 years, so there's a lot of Spanish words or words that sound very similar to Spanish.
You're familiar with Spanish? Do you
Yes.
speak Spanish?
Yeah, well, you know, growing up in this country, you have to take a language. It's usually,
Come on, speak to me in
It's
Spanish.
usually Spanish.
Habla,
Yeah, here's a sentence.
habla
Here's a
español.
sentence. ¿Cuáles son los días de las semanas?
Ay, di ko
7.
yung balosin na yan. May
No,
lunggo.
no, not how many. It's what are.
Oh, we can sing that, right?
Ano yan?
Lunes, Martes, Miércoles,
Okay.
Jueves.
So, you know, I
Yes.
mean, I speak a little Spanish, enough to get along.
So your motivation for learning Tagalog, sitting in the class,
Speak to
I'm
Jean.
is to be able
I'm
to
around
pick up.
Filipinos and Filipinas, and, you know, it'd be better to understand them when they're talking about me. You know, I hear my name, Lloyd, in the middle of it, and I don't know.
And it's good or bad.
But you
Good or
have a Fil-Am grandson.
I do. My grandson, his mom is a movie star in the Philippines. Ann Jeanette Abieri. She played Darna, which is like the Wonder Woman of the Philippines.
Oh, I know.
Anjanette Abayani.
She has a photo with my father.
Oh.
We found a photo of her.
Yeah.
My father's baul.
She still looks pretty good. We saw them this weekend, my grandson.
Next time they're here.
And
All right.
she
We can ask them.
She was
Okay,
a
okay.
Raiderette too for a while.
I don't think
Oh,
we're going
really?
to have a break.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's
Connections, huh?
fascinating.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, fascinating. So when we come back, we're going to take a short break. Leora, my question for you would be, what requirements would you have to meet in order for this course to be accredited by UNLV? Okay, so we'll be back. Don't go away. Yes, as you can see from our ad, if you watched it, this is brought to you by the University of the Philippines, Alumni Association of Nevada. And here's our president, Mia, to invite you if you are from UP.
Yes, we'd like to invite everyone who graduated from the University of the Philippines, any chapter. You can call me, 702-281-9063 for $50. That's a lifetime membership already. So join us, UPAAN, University of the Philippines. We have a lot of programs in store for next year.
Yay.
Including, sama natin tong program na to. I'm
Magaling
so
ito, no?
excited, yeah.
Yes, I
so,
love it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. May pangalan siya, call my agent. Oo, pero walang number. Sa likod ba
Sa
ang
likod.
number? There you go. That's the number. Number to call if you want to buy house and lot.
And join you pa.
And join you pa. And connect with our guests here in case you want to support. So, back to you now, Leora. What are the requirements that you need to meet so that UNLV will accredit the language learning?
So because UNLV is a university, there's a lot of hoops that we have to jump through before even getting a course on campus. So a professor from the department that the language course will be housed in, which is the World Cultures and Foreign Languages Department, has to have a professor from that department to submit a proposal for the course. And so this proposal will have all the learning outcomes. It will have all the data that we've collected over the past couple years of the campaign. It will have XYZ things that I don't know because I'm not a professor and I don't have access to it. But after that's submitted, it'll go through the review process of the chair of the department, the dean of the school, many other different individuals, and they all have to say yes in order for that course to pass. So the requirements are what through many different conversations that we've had with the chair and with the dean, they've said that they needed an accredited professor.
That's the number one.
The number one.
Without that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they need someone who does have either a master's or a PhD in the Tagalog language or Philippine studies.
So if you're listening to this and you want to be part of this, you have the master's degree or the PhD degree, connect with Leora here. Continue,
Yes.
please.
Yes, please. And second of all, we need all the interest of the students, and we want to know that if the students are interested, that they'll keep coming back. And after this first initial course that's teaching Tagalog, they want to know if there's going to be offered a second course, one that might be like secondary elementary school course for Tagalog. So they want to know if this program will progress or if it's just going to be that initial introductory course for Tagalog.
So how is this done? They will have to verbally come to you or to the university and express interest, or do they have to? What do they have to do in order to show interest?
Yeah, so all they have to do is contact us because we know the professors that are involved with the campaign. We've worked with them closely over the past couple of years. If you're interested in the course, in teaching the course at all, just reach out to us. Our email is operationsalita@gmail.com.
Operation Salita.
Yes, and we also have
gmail.com.
Instagram and all that fun stuff.
You are found on Instagram and Facebook and where else? X,
We're on
Twitter?
Instagram mainly, and we also have a website. It's operationsalita.org, and you can find all of our contact information on there, all of the members of our team on there, all of the projects that we've done. We have a petition that we spread around to all of our students in the community to show their support for the campaign. We've reached over 600 signatures so far. So
Is this an online petition?
Yes, this is an online
Are
petition.
you spreading it around?
Yes,
Can anybody sign it?
yes, anyone can sign it.
Anyone. So you can send it to me, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I have a question for Leora. Where is this passion for the language coming from?
That's a loaded question.
No, because I see it. I see it in you.
Yeah, you could have just, stayed at home and done nothing
Yeah.
about this.
I'd say I grew it over the past
Yeah.
couple of years. When I was younger, my mom, at night, me and my brother would go up to her bed, and we would play language games with her.
Oh, see. No, because I'm like that with my kids. My kids all speak Tagalog, and we would have that. We would have that
Yeah.
game. And they when they grew up, they actually, when they were younger, they hated it. Me being strict with them speaking Tagalog, but now they appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What's what's the Tagalog word
Yes,
for salt? And
yes.
then me
They
and my
have
brother would race.
flashcards.
Yeah, we would race. Like, asin, asin.
Yeah. And their friends would say, I wish my parents taught me Tagalog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diba?
And I'm glad you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for now, the top two would be professor and petition. I
Yes,
think so.
yes.
Yeah. What is that in Tagalog?
Which
Mia?
one? Alin?
Professor at saka petition.
Guro.
Guro.
And
Okay.
anong petition? What's petition?
Petition.
Petition din.
And you know what? So my eldest, which is in Florida now, so I stopped doing the flashcards, and one night she was doing it to the younger kids too.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
nice,
so
Mia.
cute,
You
yeah.
pass it on.
So there's another term for the lubhasa.
The lubhasa is expert.
Expert in the
yes.
Filipino language. So we need an expert in the Filipino language. So meron akong, sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead. Sure.
Meron akong mga kamag-anak na dalubhasa sa lengguwahe. I grew up in Laguna. So Tagalog talaga ang salita namin. So our language was really Tagalog-based. But it's now Filipino. It's not just Tagalog because Filipino is a common term for all the Filipinos. Tagalog is
The language.
the people who come from the Tagalog region.
Okay.
Filipino is the language. So, pero nag-retire ng isa, tapos na daw siya sa Noli Me Tangere.
Oh my
at sa
goodness.
Turismo. Game over na daw siya. So sabi ko, dun sa isa, pero nasa Pilipinas sila. So Leora said, we can work with the immigration offices here, so we can petition somebody if they're really dalubhasa. The problem is they teach Filipino to Filipinos. It's not
Yes.
teaching the Filipino language to Fil-Ams
Yes.
or other nationalities. So it's different too.
Yes.
So there's a certain requirement that we need for Operation
Yes.
Salita for it to be approved. So it's really a work of these bright, young,
Yeah.
smart students, and I applaud them because it is in their hearts to
Yeah.
promote the culture and the
Yes.
language, even if they were born here or if they grew up here.
True.
So to all the parents
Yeah.
out there, you have brought your kids very well, and I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of our culture. Thank you so much
I'm
for
proud of
what
the
you did.
kids.
Yes, I'm now crying because
I
I'm
know.
so proud of you.
I'm so proud of Leora.
And you know, actually, there was a lot of interest in this course. They had to turn a lot of people away. that
30
wanted to
students
Yeah.
per course,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, my kids are so proud that they can speak it. Kasi when diba, there's so many kids now they understand. A lot of Filipino kids would say, I understand, but I can't speak it. And they're proud to say that I can speak it. I can.
Yes.
And they're so proud also, when they look at their phones and they see yung mga TikTok jokes in Tagalog, they
Now they
actually
can laugh.
Yeah.
It's
And then when
empowering.
nasasama ko sila to watch Filipino movies and comedies, and they would laugh.
It's
And then,
empowering.
and so
Yes,
they're so
yes.
proud that they can
Connecting.
speak it.
And
Yeah.
one more
Right.
thing, they asked me, what is this word? What is that word? Basically, because of what they hear in the songs. So they will sing
Yeah.
Filipino Tagalog songs, but they don't understand it. They just emote from how the singers are emoting it, but they really didn't understand what it meant. So when we were translating words, it's, oh, so that's what it meant. Oh, it's so deep. Like they have a profound, profound learning as to, oh, that's what that meant.
Yeah.
And it's like so fun to be teaching this. They're not teenagers, but they're almost adults now. But for them to be learning the language is very gratifying. It's
Yeah.
just, this is what it means to be teaching.
Oh, awesome.
And they have a love for the culture
Yes,
too.
they do. They do.
One thing that I wanted to add was also part of the reason why we started this campaign was because we wanted to preserve the culture in the United
Yes.
States. Because there are a lot of families, there are a lot of parents who never learned Tagalog growing up, and so they can't teach it to their children. So after that, I guess the language just kind of disappears from the family.
Right.
And that's a worry for all of us because we love our culture. We want it to preserve. We want it to keep going. And that's just a worry that we've had. Just realizing throughout the course of this campaign that we really want our families to continue speaking the language, to continue understanding their ancestors, their grandparents, and their mothers and fathers. Like, we want them to be able to communicate and understand, and that's the main priority for us.
That's so true. Because for us, we have over 7,100 islands in the Philippines. And last I heard, like 10 years ago, there was still the conflict as to what exactly should be the national language of the Philippines. Why should it be Tagalog or Filipino? Why not
because of the
Cebuano
dialects.
or the languages of like Hiligaynon, Ilonggo, Bisaya? Because the population in Mindanao is just as big as the population in Luzon. So we have three major islands like Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So up until 10 years ago, there was that conflict.
Right.
And so we also talked about bilingualism and what constitutes Philippine language with the bilingual, with the inclusion of English, like translated into Filipino. Would that count as Tagalog language, like computer, computer, translate that, because there's no original word for that in Tagalog, so it's Kompyuter. So it's a direct transliteration, or I would say, I don't know the exact word.
Maybe because when we had our language back then, there were no computers, so
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
word has to
Yeah,
be
exactly,
has
yes.
to revolve and to
Yes,
They
yes.
evolve.
yeah.
So that's why there was that
The
question.
English language is the same way.
The same way. Yeah.
Every day there's new words
Yes.
incorporated into the English language.
Correct. Yeah.
So what words in Filipino is now into mainstream English language?
Barkada, mabuhay.
Bundok.
Bundok is
Boondocks.
Bondooks. Yes.
And it made its way into
the
the English language, yes.
Yeah. Maybe eventually Boodle fight.
Yes, boodle.
Budol.
The Boodle.
No, they always
Budol,
said-
budol.
And that's a good.
What is boodle fight?
What is
Boodle
Boodle fight?
fight
Lloyd, explain Boodle
Boodle
fight.
fight was in the military, the Filipino military. They used to fight over the food.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they just put banana leaves on the table and all the food on the table, and everybody would just grab it with their hands and fight over the food. Boodle fight. Now,
Why is
where the
it
word
boodle?
boodle comes from, that I don't know.
What is the word boodle?
Yeah, does anybody know that?
No, I don't.
So we have the term boodle in
Budol is
boodle is
It's a
not-
gang that it's a scammer.
1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
yeah. Like it's a scam, one,
Yeah,
two, three,
scam.
and then maybe because it evolved into that, it's because we're fighting over food.
Right.
But it's actually not fighting over food now. It's just enjoying the gastronomical food that we share as Filipinos. We like longanisa, like tocino, we like seafood, ihaw. Every time we have a party, it's like, are you making your lumpia? When I teach elementary school, and when we have about 10 Filipino staff there, so teachers from nurse to custodian to all facets of elementary school, we have a Filipino. And when we have a party, a potluck, they will ask, for sure there will be pancit. So all the other nationalities know pancit, they know lumpia.
Yes.
Now they know turon, because I said, oh, we need turon. And they go, what's turon? And somebody brought turon, and now they all know turon. So what else do you have? I said, oh, we better stop.
What is turon? Leora, what is turon?
It, like the lumpia wrapping, they wrap it around fried banana.
In
Yeah.
Tagalog.
That's Tagalog.
Yung outside ng
Yung outside ng
Ng-
ano
ng
yung anong
lumpia.
banana in Tagalog?
yung saging.
Saging.
There you go, yeah.
Tapos ano?
Tapos yung brown sugar.
Anong brown sugar?
Hindi ko po alam.
Asukal.
Okay.
Oh, asukal. Sa labas ng saging. Pagkatapos, what is wrong?
Babalutin.
Babalutin po
sa-
nila
sa
sa wrapping ng lumpia.
lumpia.
Sa balat ng
Galing! Ang galing.
Ganun, that's how I taught our kids when they speak in English, I would say, hindi ko maintindihan. And then they try their best to say it in Tagalog. And so one time, because I'm a realtor, so I was talking to my clients in English, and they just looked at me. And when I put the phone down, they said, "Ma, marunong ka pala mag-English?" I said, "Of course."
That's funny.
Why? Bakit palagi mo sinasabi, hindi ko maintindihan. Sabihin mo in Tagalog.
Okay, all right.
You're mean.
No, but so they can speak.
Yeah, it's tough love. That's
And
tough
love. So when they speak in English to each other, I say, Tagalog.
Okay. Wow. Tough teachers, Mia.
Tough ako talaga.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up what you said earlier, Jean, that the difference between teaching Tagalog to Tagalog speakers or to other, Filipino groups versus teaching Tagalog to non-Tagalog speakers, for example, Americans. So that's like teaching Tagalog as a second language to the non-speakers of Tagalog. So there are different ways to do that. So you are correct. If you're looking for a professor who will teach Tagalog to non-Tagalog speakers or to non-Filipinos, then you will need someone with teaching Tagalog as a second language learning.
Yes, I have the certificate for teaching English as a second language. That's teaching English.
Yes,
not teaching
exactly.
Filipino.
That's not teaching Tagalog. Yes,
It's not. But the strategies for teaching will be the same, except that
exactly.
The strategies will be the same, except that you don't have the background for teaching the Filipino
Oh,
language.
no.
although we're speaking,
Sorry.
Yeah.
The strategies will be slightly different because you can do direct translation, and you can do but it's easy for Filipinos because they can do code switching like what you did out in the outside. Sa labas, see?
Right.
But for non-speakers, there's nowhere to code switch to.
Just like Lloyd.
That's right. That's what made it more difficult for me and and easier for the other students that were there. And when we would converse together, they understood it more than I did.
Yeah, I had an experience with that too because I had a sister-in-law. She was American, and my brother-in-law was obviously Filipino, and she took a course in Tagalog, and they were teaching her deep Tagalog like Mayumi, and so she didn't learn because it was deep Tagalog words.
Well, I hope
So
my
it
students
wasn't-
learned.
Yeah,
To be
that's why
conversational.
I had to ask if it was conversational
Yes.
or
Yes.
So that's why I was asking because she didn't learn at all. Yeah.
So teaching and learning a second language. This is a second language for you, Leora, no? Because you did not start speaking Tagalog when you were born or when you were growing up, right? So
So when did they start teaching you?
When I was like 5, 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm not fluent in Tagalog, so
this is such
Just
a
being-
So I'm still,
Being around
still-
people that speak it, you pick up the language. It's like I grew up and I lived with my grandmother, and she spoke a Jewish slang which is called Yiddish, and I understood what she was saying. Even though I don't speak the language, I knew what she was saying. After a while, you figure it out, right?
Yeah. So I understand Tagalog completely.
Yeah, right.
exactly.
Oh, we started since they were born. Even our dog speaks Tagalog.
Oh, really?
Oh, halika,
Yeah.
alis. Oh.
Bus.
I know. My brother-in-law was talking to our dog in Tagalog, out, and the dog wasn't doing anything. I said, labas.
Labas. Oh, tapos na tayo sa ating show. We have a few minutes left, and how cool is that? So yeah, this is a very this is a very big topic, yes, because language is not just speaking, because you need to read, listen, speak
very nice.
and write the language in order to fully assimilate what's happening in your life. But so salamat sa iyong kampanya,
proud of you,
Leora.
Leora.
Thank you for that.
And it's not just me. My co-lead wasn't able to make it today. His name is Jax Millen, along with the entire UNLV FASA team. Like, we could not have done this campaign without
Well,
us.
feel free, because we have other programs over PHLV where the youth can speak. You young people can speak. And I think that's too much information. TMI with Michaela Cuello, yes, she's a young woman, and you would feel very confident talking to her, with her. You will have a good grasp of what's going on among the young people here if you connect with her. So I'll connect you with Cuello later. So yeah, last week, so now we are coming to a close in our show. Last week we pulled 2 cards from our guests, Mark and Michelle. The cards they pulled up were guilt and freedom. So what's coming up for me right now, and you can pipe in anytime. Guilt for me, the guilt of not teaching my children, my son, Tagalog, but my daughters learn Tagalog because they studied in Diliman, UP Diliman. But the son, he came here at when he was 12 years old. He's now 24, so he's learning Tagalog from other people, from other Filipinos. But I don't speak Tagalog very well because I'm Ilonggo ako ya. Lain man yang akon nga lingwahe. Okay, so kami nga duha naga-Ilonggo sa sulod balay. And John would be frowning, what are you talking about? See, he has to. So the card is guilt. Okay, so we want to move from guilt to the next card is freedom. And we're talking about freedom, right? The freedom to learn. So you want to relate freedom. Here's the card. You want to read that, Leora? It's on. Yeah, right, like that. How do you relate that also with your campaign right now?
So, freedom, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So, me and the entire UNLV FASA team and our campaign team, we created this. This is a student-led campaign. It was inspired by a lot of individuals in the community, and it was also primarily inspired by all the students that we talked to. We want everyone to have that option, to have that choice to learn. Like, to learn whatever language you want, to connect with your family, to learn your culture. We want to give that opportunity. And we want to provide those resources for everyone.
Grabe. Grabe. I love that. Yeah, thank you for that. Anything you want to say?
Yes.
Lloyd and
learning creates freedom.
Yes.
Just like learning how to drive gives you freedom, you know. So the more you learn, the freer you can.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jean?
And freedom gives us the right to be who we are. So I am a UNLV alumni too. My son from years ago walked with me along UNLV when we were both, I was taking my master's, he was taking his undergrad. So he was a FASA member too. So like I'm the mom of the FASA kids because from then on they became my family. And now we have this new generation of FASA members. And it's just, I'm so proud of our community for embracing this project. If you have the ability and the capability to support this Operation Salita, please do so because we have to live as Filipinos and be proud of it. So being free is being Filipino and being an American at the same time.
Perfect. Good job.
Very good, very good.
Iboto niyo po ako.
Iboto natin ang kampanya ni
Kampanya ni Leora.
Say yes to the kampanya ni
Yes.
Leora. Yeah. Mia, ikaw na mag-close sa atin.
Ako? Quote na ba o about
Anong
freedom?
close sa in the context of our show? Hindi naman pwedeng itiklop o isara. Tama ba yon?
Quote na ba? Quote time na?
Quote ka na,
O
mag-closing
hindi freedom?
Sarado na. Freedom or guilt? See? I talk
Freedom
about my
or guilt?
Either. Whatever.
Either
Bahala ka
of
na,
the towel,
madam.
though.
Bahala ka na. Hey, let's have while you're thinking about that.
Teka,
let's have,
nawala yung aking
Leora,
kodigo.
pick a pair for
Sige,
next
mag-pick
week.
muna kayo.
Yan. Okay, what is it? for next week?
Is failure and success.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Failure and success.
Failure and success for next week. Today is guilt versus freedom. So you move from guilt. Once you move out of that, you're free. Ta-da!
All right, our quote for today is from Jeffrey Williams. It's about being bilingual. You can never understand one language until you understand at least two.
Oh, wow. You can
that
never
sounds good,
understand one language until you understand at least two. Oh, buti na lang, no? We understand at least two. Yeah. Alrighty, so that's it. Any closing words so you can sleep better tonight?
I do have one.
Yes?
It's like about the diamonds, how they have pressure to be able to sparkle. We as Filipinos, para tayong bibingka.
Bibingka.
Yes. You know how bibingka is being cooked, being baked? You
Up
have
and
to
down,
have charcoal
all around.
on top
Yeah.
and charcoal at the bottom. So we have to sparkle. We have to be sweet like bibingka.
And sparkle.
And sparkle. And you can put anything. You can put cheese in it. You can put itlog na maalat in the bibingka to be tastier.
I like bibingka.
I like diamonds. I like diamonds. All right.
You like diamonds better. I do, Lloyd. I like diamonds and
I'm
bibingka.
not a materialistic type person, so
Oh, come on,
I like to
Lloyd.
eat though.
Oh, come on.
He likes
Lloyd.
rocks.
I like
And
rocks. I got rocks in my
crystals.
head.
By every-
Oh, and they also say,
yeah?
ano daw, if you learn a second language, it's easier to learn more languages.
Oh, true.
And the more valuable you are in the workplace, the more languages you have.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yan, galing. Thank you, Leora.
Thank you, Leora.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Lloyd, for being here.
Huwag kayo
Thank
magsasawa.
you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Salamat.
See you. Salamat. Paalam. Paalam, mga kaibigan.
Maligayang Pasko po.
Maligayang Pasko.
Maligayang Pasko.
Magandang araw.
Magandang araw. Bye.
On the Dot is presented by Benjamina Mia Casino. Licensed real estate professional since 2008. License number S01669991 LLC.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.